Hello, my name is Hannah and I am here to review the Germany, Italy, and Switzerland trip with EF Ultimate Break. Trip was 10 days and it covered 5 countries: Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Austria. This was my 11th trip with EF Ultimate Break. I love traveling with them. Full disclosure, I am an ambassador. I am not being paid to make this video. This is my true, honest review. You can use my code UAHANNAH100 to get $100 off your next trip, even on top of the sale. This is for first-time travelers only. You have to follow the link in the description and then plug in the code so it's activated. That's the only way you can get my code to work. All right, let's talk about EF Ultimate Break. It is a travel company where they plan everything for you, from flights, hotels, transportation, tour guides, and everything in between. It is for group travel. You can go solo, you can go with friends, a significant other. I have gone solo for 6 of them, and then I've been with my husband for 5 of the trips. Be anywhere from ages 18 to 35 with Ultimate Break. Usually the group sizes are anywhere from like 10 to 15 people all the way to 43 people is their max. What I love about EF is you truly just pay and they plan everything for you. You can book your own flights or they can book them for you. Now to talk about the trip in general. It's a very fast-paced trip. You are literally on the bus for a couple hours every other day, and you're basically spending a day and a half in each country. If you are ready to explore 5 countries in 10 days, which is a very quick time period, this is the trip for you. It started with flights. My husband and I had EF book our flights, and then 30 days before departure, they give you your confirmation code so you can plug that into the airline, choose your seat, and get everything ready to go. The flight path was actually pretty nice. It was Indianapolis to Toronto. We got to go straight to Venice. On the way home, it was the same exact flight path. We flew from Lucerne, Switzerland, down to Toronto, and came home to Indianapolis. We had a long overnight flight from Toronto to Venice, and as soon as we landed about 10 a.m., we met everybody in the airport, about half the group. The group was about 36 people. We're actually on similar flights and arrived at the same time. The tour guide greeted us, along with the bus driver, picked us up, and took us to our first hotel. We couldn't check in yet, so that's the biggest tip with this trip is just whatever you're wearing or whatever you want to get ready with, make sure to have it really close to you in your carry-on bag or something that you can easily access, because since you can't check into the hotel, you basically have to drop off your stuff and go to the center of Venice. Right after we dropped off our stuff to the hotel, we immediately got ready and went to the center to explore downtown Venice. It was about a 30-minute bus ride to the center. We arrived there about noonish. We had the rest of the day to explore before the welcome dinner at 6:30, and it was a beautiful day. We really just got to walk around. The tour guide suggested a few places here and there, did her own little walking tour. We got lunch and didn't plan anything the first day of Venice just because we wanted to explore. We had about 4.5 hours to. Then we went back to the hotel with the group. EF always includes the welcome and farewell dinner. It's a chance for you to mingle with the group, get to know everybody, introduce yourself, and have a really good welcome meal. Day 2 in Venice, we actually woke up a little bit early. We were able to take a boat taxi into the city and immediately met up with one of our walking tour guides that EF assigned to us. We put in a headphone, walked around the city for about 2 hours while she explained the history of everything and pointed out a few monumental buildings. And then we got to meet up with the group in order to get free time and explore on your own after that. And I immediately booked tickets to St. Mark's Basilica and then the Bell Tower. These were $10 and $15 each. Before we left Venice, the tour director actually arranged a gondola ride. When you're in Venice, you must do this. It was, I believe, €60 for just a quick little ride around about 45 minutes. Each group split up into groups of 5 on the gondola. And then after that, we headed to the hotel to freshen up. And then the tour director also arranged an optional excursion to go to a countryside wine tasting. We had a family that we got to see and taste some of their wine. We had even the grandfather of the business started serenading us in this Italian beautiful music. The food was absolutely delicious. Some of the best cheese and best pasta I've ever had. Everything homemade. The wine was fabulous. The group was having such a good time. One of the best excursions I've ever done with EF. So the next morning we were headed to Austria. We left at about 8:30 in the morning, and then we had about a 4.5 hour bus ride to Salzburg. In the middle, we took a little gas station stop and then actually stopped in Innsbruck, Austria before we got to Salzburg. Had about 2.5 hours of free time. The tour director suggested a nice restaurant to eat at, and then got to see the beautiful, colorful buildings along the waterway. It was a little chillier this day, so we spent a lot of our time inside, but then walked around the city a bit. We finally got to our hotel in Salzburg about 6:30. After that, we ended up just going to a dinner. Pretty tired from being on the bus all day, so we just wanted something quick. Some of the group went out in Salzburg. We decided to just stay in and come back to the hotel right after dinner. The next morning in Salzburg was a free day, pretty much. Husband and I actually booked through Viator a private transportation tour to the Eagle's Nest, back down in Germany, right on the border of Germany and Austria, and we took about an hour-ish drive down there. We were able to explore the museum at the bottom of Salzburg, an hour and a half, learn about the compound, see some of the bunkers. Actually, we were able to take a public bus that a lot of group tours were going on up to the top of the mountain to see the Eagle's Nest. Included in this Viator trip, we actually got to have an hour and a half stop in a little small cute town. Just walked around. It was very similar to Innsbruck, just felt like a little Hallmark movie. Got a little bit of lunch, got to relax, and then got back to Salzburg. Some of the group did the Sound of Music tour. We actually did not, just because we only had half the day left by the time we got back. So we went to the fortress in the middle of the city, spent a couple hours there, and really just explored downtown Salzburg and gave ourselves our own guided tour. Downtown Salzburg was just beautiful. It really blew us away. We would love to explore more of it in the future. Then after Salzburg, it was on our way to Munich. Woke up the next morning, we hopped on the bus about 9 a.m. and then got to Munich about 11:30 a.m. So about 2.5 hours, including a stop on the way to Munich. Had a little bit of a walking tour and then got to pop over to our own lunch for an hour. After the guided walking tour, we actually had a few hours of our own free time, so we got to explore a little bit more about Munich. Then we actually got ready, had about an hour to get ready for our included dinner. Dinner was really delicious. It had some local German food. And after that, we again were exhausted from traveling all day, so we went back to the hotel. Some people stayed out again, but we went back to get some good rest. The next day was extremely heavy. Did go see a concentration camp, and although it was extremely dense, emotional, I am very thankful that we got to see it with the guide we had. He was an amazing guide. He really took his time to explain everything in a very factual, historical manner. And although again it was heavy, it's something that I think is really important for us to do. Trip from Munich to Dachau was about an hour long. We took a bus there, and we had a very long time at the concentration camp, about 4 hours. And we had another hour ride back to the hotel. We got back about 1:30 and then got about an hour and a half of just downtime. The next step was going to Oktoberfest. So it was a very long packed day from one emotion to another. This trip was specifically not an Oktoberfest trip. I know there's a Germany, Italy, Switzerland that includes Oktoberfest, and then there's a specific Oktoberfest trip, just 6 days of pure Oktoberfest. The tour director did not help us, as she shouldn't, with any of the bookings, just because it wasn't included in this trip. We were communicating as a group beforehand in the group chat about who wanted to go to Oktoberfest, and we ended up getting 20 people to go, which meant we got to book 2 tables of 10. Didn't sit next to each other, but we were at least in the same vicinity. We were in an older, more traditional tent. You could tell all the songs were in German. Everybody was, felt local, and there was tons of music. Everyone was having fun. It was just a blast. Our time slot was from 2 to 5:30, and they are really strict about that time. You get there, and they are serving food and drinks to you immediately, and then as soon as the 5:30 hits, they clear up everything, and they get ready for their next mix, and you must get out. You have no chance to just stay and mingle. They're like, okay, bye, next table. It was amazing. It was just one of those once in a lifetime opportunities. Just super packed, obviously, 1 million people, everybody's drunk, drinking beer, but what a time. Really, it's interesting about Oktoberfest is it's not just like a couple tents. It's like huge, about 10 to 15 big tents. It's also a carnival in the middle. It almost felt like a humongous state fair. There was rides, there was food, everything that you would get at a typical fair was in Oktoberfest. Biggest tip would be book this table early. People book them a year in advance. They've already booked them for next year. So make sure if you're going on this trip and it does not include Oktoberfest, make sure to book that as soon as possible. Get your group involved. I'm sure there will be people wanting to go. It was about $88 per person for a chicken meal that was humongous. It was a huge fried chicken, included a little piece of bread, and then it had 2 humongous things of beer. I couldn't even drink all the beer because of the time frame that each Stein is like 2 beers in one, so it's basically 4 full-size beers. Felt like the money was worth it. It was so fun. We spent about an hour inside, and then we walked outside for about 45 minutes and then came back and finished inside the tent. Next morning was an extremely long day, and you have to get prepared because you're basically going from Germany all the way to Switzerland, which is a very long drive. We left about 7:30 in the morning. Everyone was super tired and basically just slept for about an hour and a half for our first stop into the Neuschwanstein Castle. We got to go up. We couldn't go in the castle, but we got to see it from a distance, had some time for lunch. So this was a few hour stop, which was really nice. After stopping at the castle, we had another 3-hour drive to a whole different country, Liechtenstein. We got to stop in and visit Europe's 4th smallest country. Stopped in the city for about an hour. We had time to get a snack and get something sweet. Although there is a lot of bus time on this trip and driving, the views are like incredible, and honestly it was a really good time just to reset every day. Just spend a couple hours just on your phone reading, listening to music. After about a 2.5-hour drive, then we finally made it to Lucerne, Switzerland, and it was great. We really just had a few hours in the evening. We got there about 6:30 p.m. Had a little bit of a walk around the city. It was a little rainy, so we made it quick, and then we had free time for the rest of the evening. We actually did not stay in Lucerne, so as a group we took off and actually took about another 45-minute drive up the mountain to Mount Titlis at the base of the mountain where we stayed. Our director arranged a late night dinner of Swiss cheese fondue for all of us to enjoy. Next day, you had an option of purchasing an add-on excursion through EF, which was a gondola ride up to the top of Mount Titlis. Started at the base, got up about 8:30 a.m. and then walked to the city center where we were able to rent some ski gear like jackets and pants and even boots because at the top it was super snowy, and then took the gondola ride up. And the coolest thing is you basically had like the whole day to fit this in before the farewell dinner. Gondola takes you like halfway up, and then you stop there for a little bit, eat, explore there. There was a little lake and everything we got to explore. Then you keep taking it up to the next step, which was all the way at the top of the mountain, and got to see the beautiful views. Unfortunately, it was super snowy and not very good conditions, but we still got to do some of the activities like taking a gondola ride in basically into the abyss and then walking along the bridge in between the mountains. You got to stop again in the middle of that stop on the second part of the gondola, got to explore a lot more of the lake. And by the time that got done on our own time, we got back down to the base and really got to relax until the farewell dinner. Everybody got to reminisce on the trip, got some good food, and the tour director made a really nice heartfelt speech about everybody. Trip is one of EF's most popular ones, and it's for a reason. You see some of the most beautiful parts of Europe, and I would highly recommend this, especially for like somebody's first time trip. Some of the nicest hotels I've had with EF. We did book the plus version of the trip, which just means a little bit upgraded hotels and not hostels like the essential trip, and you're only rooming with one person the whole trip. I was really impressed by how much free time we had. I figured everything would be planned to a T, but really once you get into the city, they have either a walking tour or a half day where they're kind of guiding you on what to do, but then really we had like almost a day and a half worth of free time in each place after that walking tour. Our tour guide Gia was one of my favorites. She was absolutely fabulous. She had everything super organized. She had us in the Planify app, which was really nice because every single day you knew exactly what time and everywhere you needed to be. We went on this trip late September, early October, just to make sure we overlapped with the Oktoberfest dates. I would say this was a fabulous time to go. The weather was amazing. It was a little chilly in the places. Venice was a little warm, but not very hot. And then the rest of the places were like mid 50s, maybe low 60s, which was perfect. Just throw on a jacket. It wasn't too crowded just because it was shoulder season of like right after summer. The food was really delicious. We had a few different types of cuisine. Venice, of course, it was pizza, pasta, gelato, all the typical Italian delicacies. Austria, Switzerland, and Germany kind of had similar foods, sausages, pretzels, schnitzels, which was like almost like a breaded tenderloin, soups and bread. It was really delicious. Out of 11 trips with the EF, I've got to say this was actually one of my favorites. I would highly recommend this. There is a reason why this is one of EF's most popular trips. To me, it's pretty affordable when you look at and break down the cost of the flights, hotels, and the transportation. During Black Friday sale, which was happening right now, it makes it even cheaper for you. Speaking of Black Friday, right now, it's in November. It's the early stages of the Black Friday sale. This is the best time to book with EF. They have a summer sale. It's a little comparable to this, but not as big of discounts as this Black Friday deal is right now. And my code, UAHannah100, actually stacks on top of the Black Friday deals to get you an extra $100 off your next trip. If you've enjoyed this video and look into booking this trip, check out EF's website. They have trips for just about anybody, anywhere from 6 days to 60 days and everything in between. You will definitely find something that interests you on EF's site. It's the best way to find solo travel, especially if you can't get anybody to go with you. Take the leap, have the confidence, and go. It's why I'm here 11 trips later. I can't tell you enough amazing things about EF. Thanks again for watching this video. Check out any of my other videos and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Appreciate it. Bye.